Alright, so I'm here to talk about Oppenheimer. This is a biopic that is directed by Christopher Nolan and stars a bunch of people. And I'm here to tell you the brief plot of the movie. Of course, it follows a true story about J Robert Oppenheimer, also known as the father of the atomic bomb. And here, let me tell you my background on this kind of movies, and also my personal opinion about Christopher Nolan. First thing first, I don't like biopics mostly, but occasionally I find some biopics that is like this, a thrilling, enjoyable film and also a masterful experience on its own. Secondly, I really do not like Christopher Nolan's directing style for the majority of his movies. I didn't even like the Batman movies he's done, and that isn't to say that the Batman movies were bad. No, it just didn't click with me, It just didn't really feel like Batman. Now, that is another topic for another video, but for now, let's focus on Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer stars a bunch of people, of course, Killian Murphy as Oppenheimer, and Robert Downey Jr. and Emily Blunt and Matt Damon and a bunch of other people. If I'm here to mention them all, I will be here all day. And so, what I like about this film is, of course, Killian Murphy as Oppenheimer. This man captures all of Oppenheimer's emotional aspect in the film. Throughout his eyes, you can see what he's feeling inside, And what this film does differently and really efficiently is how he channels his emotions, The Oppenheimer you see prior to the Trinity test is different than after the Trinity test. And you can really see the difference in Killian Murphy's performance, the subtle changes, and also the changes on his appearance, and also the changes on his attitude. I really like how Killian differentiates the two versions of Oppenheimer really clearly, And after the explosion, you can feel his desperation, his dread. You can feel it clearly and you can see it clearly throughout Killian Murphy's performance. And by the way, he is really brilliant. He is really in character for this one, and I really think that he deserves an Oscar. The other standout here is, of course, Robert Downey Jr. as Louis Strauss. This man opposed to Oppenheimer's ideas, and he really captures the repercussions of the Trinity explosion in a really different way that Oppenheimer captured it. And what I really like about Christopher Nolan in this film is that he differentiates these two perspectives. These two perspectives around Oppenheimer, and it is very different from what Louis Strauss sees in these events, And he differentiated with making Oppenheimer's perspective shot in color and Louis Strauss' perspective shot in black and white. And I think that is a really clever way to differentiate these two perspectives. And because this movie is jumping back around time, contains flashbacks, maybe if he didn't do that, it would make the audiences confused and really use different aesthetics to indicate which perspectives you are on, because this film is jumping around time. And one of the aspects that I like most about this film is, of course, the cinematography. This film is brilliantly shot, There's not a single frame that you can feel really shaky cam, or something that you wouldn't like to see in a film. This film is really shot very well and very brilliantly. You can see what Oppenheimer is thinking on his mind through the brilliant visuals. And this film really does show it perfectly, and you, as an audience, you understand what this man is thinking, what Oppenheimer is thinking, you know. And that is really important for a movie like this, because you have to follow each of his footsteps, understanding everything, so you can really analyze the film on your own. And I really like that. The other thing that I like about this film is the roles. You know, I mentioned before, this film contains a lot of famous people, but Christopher didn't really use him just for their names. He uses them for the roles that they were in. You know that these are famous people, but maybe they are not here for a long time. They're just here for cameos, and it really just suits the characters that they're playing on screen. And I really, really like that these actors, all of them, are really into their characters, you know. One of the best things in this film is the score by Ludwig Göransson, especially the Can You Hear the Music soundtrack. It was brilliant. This soundtrack differentiates two perspectives, you know. Before the explosion, it is calm and full of music, but slowly it descends into madness, capturing the feeling after the explosion. And I really think that this soundtrack is the best soundtrack I have ever heard in a long time. This soundtrack has a soul in it. It's not just a music, but you can really capture the emotions that the characters are in just by hearing the soundtrack. And I really think that is a masterful work for Ludwig Göransson, and I really appreciate that. But now let's jump to the negative side of this film, and that is the runtime. Now, I know that this is a biopic, and it has a job to detail every information that the characters are giving you throughout the screen. And I think that requires a lot of time. But in the first act, the film drags a little bit, and to some degree, I understand that, because this is not only about the creation of the atomic bomb, but this is also a movie about Oppenheimer as a person. So you can understand him perfectly, and you can know what he stands for, what he believes. And I really like that the film details that, but in sometimes there are scenes that really doesn't progress the plot entirely, and these sequences drags the film down. No wonder this is a 3-hour epic, but the most dragged part is the first act of the film. Once that bomb is made, the film really wraps up, you know. And I like that the film really shows you every step of the creation of the atomic bomb. So in the end, I will give Oppenheimer a 9 out of 10. And tell me, have you seen Oppenheimer? What do you think about it? And do you like it? Do you feel that it is too long? Just tell me everything that you think on this film. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Whatever. Drop it on the comment sections, and see you in the next video.